What up guys, my name is BZK, thank you so much for watching, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys my PvP Voidwalker build. Now I use 3 exotics for this build, and primarily just a few weapons that I always use, and the 3 exotics that I use work with this build no matter which that you choose. Now the whole point of this build is to kill as many enemies as you can while getting your Nova Bomb back as much as you can. So we'll be starting with the perks. Now there's 4 main perks that make this build. The first of which is the scatter grenade, a grenade that splits into many submunitions and covers a large area with explosions. Now I've always used scatter grenade even before I even heard about the nothing manacles, which allow your scatter grenades to track, which is absolutely nuts. And if you just throw this near an enemy's feet or just near them, you're going to kill them. But if you don't, then you can just one hit them with pretty much any weapon. So I generally use the scatter grenade. Now this isn't one of the 4, but for PvE I always use focus burst, and for PvP I always use blink. Now if you haven't used blink, I highly suggest you do, because it's very OP, especially combined with the shotgun. Now, the second of the 4 perks is the Shatter Nova Bomb. It splits into 3 projectiles. Now, the reason why you want this is because it increases the blast radius of your Nova Bomb, allowing you to kill more enemies in a certain area, which is obviously, what we want. And, the Vortex is it's alright. Lance is really good, but the way I play, at least I'm aggressive enough to, not warrant using the Lance. I'm close enough to where I can just use a Shatter and I can kill a lot of enemies that cover a big area. So I go with a Shatter Grenade, Shatter Nova Bomb, excuse me. Now the third of the 4 perks that you want, and this is probably the most important, is Annihilate. Increases the size of explosions created by your Nova Bomb and grenades. Now, with the Shatter Nova Bomb already increasing your blast radius, with Annihilate on, that blast radius is even further increased, allowing you to kill even more enemies in a given area, which, again, is what we're trying to do. Now, the 4th perk of this build is Bloom. Enemies killed by any of your abilities, melee, grenade, or Nova Bomb, explode. Now this is, if you haven't used this is pretty much like the Firefly perk on the Fatebringer. You kill an enemy, they explode, they have a chance to deal damage to a nearby enemy as well. And if they're close enough, you can get an extra kill off of 1. So you get 2 kills for 1 if the enemies are close enough. So you want Bloom again, you want Annihilate. This isn't one of them, but Soul Rip, you want Soul Rip just so you can get your Nova Bomb back faster. Shatter, Nova Bomb, and then the Scatter Grenade. Now those are the 4 perks. The rest, like as far as the attributes go, that's all preference. Just like any build, that's preference. That's how you play. But you have to make sure you have those 4 perks on. Now for the weapons, we have the Her Mercy Hand Cannon, I'll get to in a sec, the Shotgun, the Party Crasher +1, and the Pacifier X. Now the Her Mercy Hand Cannon I consider to be the legendary Hawk Moon. This thing is absolutely nuts. I only had to reforge it once, and I got probably the best roll I could have asked for. We got Final Round. The last round the magazine deals bonus damage. We got Small Bore, increases range and stability, slower reload, reduced magazine size, and the reduced magazine size actually helps us. And the slower reload, I mean, it's already slow enough, you're not going to really notice anything. And then you got Luck in the Chamber. One random bullet in the magazine causes considerable bonus damage. Now with this perk on, it reduces the magazine size from 10 to 9, and though it's not that much of a decrease, it still helps your chances of landing that Luck in the Chamber shot, which obviously helps you. I can't tell you guys how many times I've 2-hit people in the dome, and maybe it's just because I've used the Fatebringer so much that I'm good with hand cannons. I don't know what it is, but the slow fire rate, high impact hand cannon allows me to be more precise, and I can hit headshots a lot easier. I don't know what it is, but you guys have to take my word for it. If you have the Her Mercy, try and reforge it to at least get the Small Bore perk. This thing is an absolute, just to show you guys what its perks are without Small Bore. I'll put on Armor Piercing, so you see the range, you see the stability. It's like, it's alright. You put on Small Bore, you see the difference. Like, that difference makes a huge difference when you're playing PvP. You guys just have to take my word for it. If you have the Her Mercy, again, try and get the small bore perk. Now for the shotgun, Party Crasher, I have, shot package, that's a given. You gotta make sure you have shot package. I don't have rifle barrel, but I do have snapshot, so this allows me to be a little bit more aggressive. I don't have to pre-aim as much. And then Army of One, unassisted kills with this weapon, reduce grenade and melee cooldown. And for Warlocks, you couldn't ask for a better perk, because Warlocks are built around that stuff. And then my heavy machine gun, I must have reforged at least 40 times until I got what I wanted. And finally, we got the hidden hand, grants better target acquisition. And for those of you that don't know what that means, it's whenever you're aiming at someone, you get your aim kind of slows down and kind of sticks to the enemy. That stickiness is increased. I don't know how else to explain it, but I think you guys know what I mean. And then we got skip rounds, which I'm never going to use. High caliber, never going to use. And small bore. I actually got small bore again, and this time on a heavy machine gun. And the range and the stability are perfect. I am totally fine with that. And then we got crowd control. So after my first kill, the next kill will become even easier. So I really, really do like the Pacifier X heavy machine gun for PvP. Now for the 3 exotics, now the primary one you want to use to blend this all together is the Obsidian Mind. And that's because the Nova Bomb kills reduce the cooldown of your next Nova Bomb, and I'll show an example of that here in a second. But again, any of these 3 armor pieces work with this build, but this is the one you want to gravitate towards the most. Now, if you want to have some fun, you can use the Ram. It replenishes health when you pick up an orb, which is always good. More super energy from melee kills, which is good. Not energy drain kills, but just pure melee kills. That can be really, really helpful. And then the perk for it is increased armor. All Voidwalker melees trigger lifesteal on hit. Now what that means is you just deal damage to someone, and a 5-second timer shows up, and you activate lifesteal. When that 5-second timer is down, you could then do it again should you need to. This is a really fun, really good helmet to use, and if you guys have it, I highly suggest you try it out and see if you like it. And then the third of the exotics are the Nothing Manacles. I'll switch to it in here. The Nothing Manacles. This is also new to the House of Wolves, and the perk for it is enables tracking for scatter grenades. Not only that, hold an extra scatter grenade charge. Now, with this build, with obviously the scatter grenade, and then you got Annihilate and Bloom, you can see how that kind of synergizes together, and it can create some havoc for the enemy team. Now, I usually rock either these or the Obsidian Mind, but either or works just as fine for this build. For the other 2 perks, you got increased grenade throw distance and then reduced grenade cooldown each time you pick up an orb. So those are pretty solid perks, but that's pretty much it. Like I said, I only use the Obsidian Mind primarily, or the Nothing Manacles. If you want to have fun, use the Ram, but again, the whole point of this build is to kill as many enemies as you can and try and get your Nova Bomb back as much as you can. So I'm about to show you guys an example of this in action. So I'm on Raising Tide on Mars. Vex should be spawning here in a second. Just give them a sec. I'll let them congregate here. So you see they're starting to gather, right? So you launch your Nova Bomb. And look at that. Half of my super, more than half my super, is generated back from just having the Obsidian Mind helmet on. That's half of your super. That's absolutely nuts. Now, to show you guys the scatter grenade, you just launch them near an enemies, and that Vex right there was killed by Bloom. So I killed the 2 Vex, and then that one right there killed that Vex right there. So you can see how these perks synergize with each other. But guys, that's pretty much it. Give this a shot, and let me know how you like it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. YouTube, motherfucking peace.